Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. What I'm looking at is a beer from Three Floyds out of Munster, Indiana. This is the Turbo Reaper IPA, clocking in at 7% alcohol by volume. I've never had this beer before. This beer is courtesy of Michael Kormaroff. Thank you, Michael. Um, This is a West Coast IPA, as stated on the label. It says this West Coast style IPA awaits your defenseless thirst. As colossal hop aromas ride in harmony with tropical and citrus notes, you better run for cover. There is no other. Um, there is a date on the bottom. It looks like it's about 3 months old at the time of this recording, so not super fresh, but 3 months. It should be fine. Um, that's kind of like the cutoff for me with IPAs. After 3 months, they start getting a little old. The hops lose um, their intended effect. Unless you're drinking a heavily hopped barley wine and you want to let it sit and develop. But for IPAs, you typically want to drink them as fresh as possible. So this one is, 3 months or so. We're kind of right there in that range. Let's pour it up. Never really had IPAs from Three Floyds. I get a couple of their beers here, but like their barrel-aged stouts. Um, yeah, pretty much that's it. I've had two different barrel-aged stouts from them. And then now I've had two or three of their IPAs that Michael sent me home with. So there you go. There's your pour. It's kind of a hazy, golden to almost orange. It looks more orange on camera than it actually is. It looks more hazy, golden. It looks more orange on the camera. Two finger, white, kind of a cross between a creamy and a frothy head. It smells really good. A lot of citrus right up front. Tangerine, grapefruit, a little bit of a malt backbone in there. A little bit of a floral aroma also. I'm not getting any piney, resinous type notes on the aroma, but they may be present on the palate. We'll just have to wait and see. So, citrusy, tangerine, grapefruit, a little bit of a floral aroma, and you can pick up on some of the malt in the background once you get through those hop aromas. Smells like a delightful beer, so without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. Oh, that's really nice. Super smooth. At 7%, it's on the lighter side with the body. Nice head retention, by the way, and some glass lacing starting to form. You get that citrus kick right up front. A little bit of tangerine, citrus, a little bit of like a lemon zest, and a touch of grapefruit. That leads into a nice kind of bready, malty center. Really enjoyable stuff. It's not too bitter at all. I don't like the super bitter palate wrecker type West Coast IPAs that taste like pine sap and grapefruit pith and all of that. This has a nice balance. There's a little bit of sweetness in there, a definite citrus overload. That floral note is coming through on the palate as well. Um, that lemon zest is really nice. Nice and bready in the middle of the sip. It's pretty light bodied for 7%. You could really just take this down if you wanted to. Carbonation is on the lower end of medium, but yeah, body is definitely light. It's nice and juicy, citrus forward. Um, the finish is short-lived, no lingering bitterness. It is slightly bitter on the finish, more along the lines of a West Coast IPA, I suppose, but it's not. It doesn't have an unpleasant bitterness. It doesn't have a lingering bitterness. It's well balanced. The malts and the hops are well balanced in this beer. Super enjoyable beer. I did not know what to expect with this. I'm pleasantly surprised with this. Now, if this was 3 days old versus 3 months old in the can, I might be having a different experience. Um, but it tastes like the hops have held up well. Maybe a slightly more bitter finish if this was super fresh. But I'm not complaining at all on that lack of super unpleasant bitterness. This is super enjoyable. This is a solid A for sure. One of the better West Coast IPAs I've had in a while. Um, I'm really enjoying this. Let's get one more sip and give you guys a rating. That's delightful. I'm going to go high here. I'm going to go 97. I really like this beer. It's got nice malt character. The hops are really nice and not too bitter, but you're getting a ton of citrus action. Just a beautiful beer. That floral note that I was picking up on the aroma and on the palate is really nice and kind of sets this one over the top for me. Um, Along with that little bit of like a lemon zest note that I'm picking up on. Dynamite beer, and 97 out of 100 for this is pretty high on my scale. Not quite world class, but pretty dang close. But definitely an outstanding beer, a wonderful representation of a West Coast IPA without being too crazy. So, thanks again to Michael for giving me this beer. That'll do it for this beer review, guys. The Turbo Reaper from Three Floyds. If you can get it, buy it, try it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And hope everybody out there is having a great day. We'll see you on the next Georgia Beer Review. Until then, cheers, everybody.